Hare Krishna. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jai Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Radha Madan Mohan Radha Jai Gauranitai Jai Gauranitai Jaya Jagannath Jaya Baladev Jaya Subhadra Jai Prabhupada Nitai Gaur Haribol Jai Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajakacharya Stotra Sata Shri Srimad Divine Grace Labhai Charanaravinda Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Jai Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajakacharya Stotra Sata Shri Srimad Divine Grace Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की जय ब्रजभूमि श्री वृंदावन धाम की जय नवद्वीप श्री मायापुर धाम की जय पुरुषोत्तम क्षेत्र श्री जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की जय गंगा माँ यमुना माँ की जय वृंद देवी तुलसी महारानी की जय श्री हरि नाम संकीर्तन की जय Srila Prabhupada Transcendental Book Distribution ki jai, their most merciful Lordship Sri Sri Gaunithai ki jai, the most merciful Lordship Sri Sri Radha Madan Mohan ji ki jai, their most merciful Lordship Sri Sri Jagannath Baldev Subhadra Maharani ki jai, Granthara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Samaveta Gaur Bhakta Brinda ki jai, Nithai Gaur Premanande. All glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to Shri Guru Gauranga, all glories to Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrutyam Naram Shaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttamasloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. Today we are discussing from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 12, entitled Dhruva Maharaj Goes Back to Godhead, text number 45. Dhanyam yasasyam ayushyam Dhanyam yasasyam ayushyam पुण्यं स्वस्त्ययनं महा पुण्यं स्वस्त्ययनं महा स्वर्ग्यं स्वर्ग्यं धौर्यं सौमनस्यं स्वर्ग्यं धौर्यं सौमनस्यं प्रशस्यम् अघमर्षणम् धन्यं यस्यम् आयुष्यम् पुण्यं स्वस्त्ययनं महा स्वर्ग्यं धौर्यं सौमनस्यं प्रशस्यम् अघमर्षणम् धन्यं यशस्यमायुष्यम् पुण्यं स्वस्त्ययनं महा स्वर्ग्यं धौर्यं सौमनस्यं प्रशस्यम् अघमर्षणम् धन्यं यशस्यमायुष्यम् पुण्यं स्वस्त्ययनं महा स्वर्ग्यं धौर्यं सौमनस्यं प्रशस्यम् अघमर्षणम् धन्यं यशस्यमायुष्यम् Any Matajis? Dhanyam yasasamayushyam Dhanyam, bestowing wealth. Yasashyam, bestowing reputation. Ayushyam, increasing the duration of life. Punyam, sacred. Swasti ayanam, creating auspiciousness. Mahat, great. Swargyam, bestowing achievement of heavenly planets. Dharavyam, of Dhruvaloka or Dhruvaloka. Saumanasyam, pleasing to the mind. Prasashyam, glorious. Aghamarshyanam, counteracting all kinds of sinful activities. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation: by hearing the narration of Dhruva Maharaj, one can fulfill desires for wealth, reputation, and increased duration of life. It is so auspicious that one can even go to a heavenly planet or attain Dhruvaloka, which was achieved by Dhruva Maharaj just by hearing about him. The demigods also become pleased with this narration, because this narration is so glorious and is so powerful that it can counteract all the results of one's sinful actions. Please repeat. By hearing the narration of Dhruva Maharaj, one can fulfill desires for wealth, reputation, and increased duration of life. It is so auspicious that one can even go to a heavenly planet or attain Dhruvaloka, which was achieved by Dhruva Maharaj. Just by hearing about him, the demigods also become pleased because this narration is so glorious and it is so powerful that it can counteract all the results of one's sinful actions. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. There are different types of men in this world, not all of them pure devotees. Some are karmis, desiring to acquire vast wealth. There are also persons who are only after reputation. Some desire to be elevated to the heavenly planets or to go to Dhruvaloka, and others want to please the demigods to get material benefits, material profits. Herein, it is recommended by Maitreya that every one of them can hear the narration about Dhruva Maharaj and thus get their desired goal. It is recommended that the devotees, Akama, the Karmis, Sarvakama, and the Jnanis who desire to be liberated, Mokshakama, should all worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead to acquire their desired goals of life. Similarly, if anyone hears about the activities of the Lord's devotee, he can achieve the same result. There is no difference between the activities and character of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and those of His pure devotees. Jai Shri Shri Gaunithai ki jai, Shri Shri Radha Madan Mohan ji ki jai, Shri Shri Jagannath Baldev Subhadra Maharani ki jai. Om Ajnanatimidandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Caitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vancha Kalpatarobhyasya Kripa Sindhubhye Vacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shrivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Mukam karoti vachalam pangam langaite girim yat kripatamaham vande Shri Gurum Dinatharinam. So this is the falastuti of hearing about Dhruva Maharaj. For many chapters we have discussed how Dhruva Maharaj attained perfection by association of Narada Muni. The way he started and the way he ended up his life was very glorious. The starting point was not very glorious. The starting point was like many of us, frustrated, angry, envious, wanting to get back, prove his point. That was the starting point of Dhruva Maharaj, isn't it? When he wanted to climb on the lap of his father, his mother spoke very harshly to him, and he was pierced by the arrow-like words of his mother and was deeply hurt. So many of us are like that. In this world, many of us are abused by someone or the other, only because we have hurt others. Not that, we are very innocent and somebody has hurt us. So that's our starting point. Anybody's starting point in this world is like that only. That we are very hurt, angry, upset. But although that is the starting point for Dhruva, just see how glorious his life has become. He ruled the kingdom for so many millions of years, happily, without any opposition, and then he went back to Godhead. When two Vaikuntha Vasis along with aeroplane came and took him back to Godhead. So, isn't it an interesting episode for people like us? Why you want to get out of this position, a frustrated position, angry position, or get back mentality, and you wanted to go to a very glorious situation. It is said the Lord Caitanya heard this Dhruva story again and again and again. These two stories from Bhagavatam he heard, Prahlad Maharaj story and Dhruva Maharaj story. Prahlad Maharaj story is a little difficult for us to relate. Why? Because we are neither pure devotee like Prahlad, number one. Number two, we don't have those many difficulties that Prahlad has. Isn't it, honestly speaking? So Prahlad Maharaj's story is a standard of what is pure devotion. Dhruva Maharaj's story is how to reach that standard of pure devotion from the existing position. So that is why Dhruva Maharaj's story is relished by Lord Chaitanya again and again. So, in this it is mentioned, anyone who hears this story of Dhruva Maharaj, what is the result? The result is that one can fulfill all his desires. Maybe the desire for wealth or reputation, or for long life, or stay in heavenly planets, or even a greater planet like Dhruva Loka. So, how can you say that? Because Dhruva Maharaj attained all of that. Dhruva Maharaj attained great wealth, great reputation. He has long duration of life. He stayed in a loka was created for him and given to him. And then in the end, what happened? He went back to Godhead. So it's such a glorious life that Dhruva has led. Such a difficult beginning that he had, but he led a very glorious life. But that is precisely the reason why all of us should pay attention to this episode of Dhruva Maharaj, because we are all like starting Dhruvas, all of us. But then what brought the change in Dhruva Maharaj's life? What are some of the salient features of his life? What are some of the landmark steps that Dhruva Maharaj has taken up so that he can end up the way he ended up? That is what we need to very carefully observe, so that we can apply the same in our life and lead life like Dhruva. The very fact that Dhruva Maharaj's story is mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam, it is an example for all of us to how to move from a materialistic position to a pure position. That is why in the Falastuti it is said, if you hear this story carefully and apply these principles, then all desires will be fulfilled. Akama sarva kamo va moksha kamo udaradi tivrena bhakti yogena yajeta purusham param. As it is mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam. Whether you have akama means you are a bhakta, you don't have any material desires. Sarva kama, you have all kinds of material desires. Moksha kama, one who wants liberation. Whoever you are, whichever category that you belong to. But one thing that needs to be done, how Dhruva Maharaj has done, a similar thing has to be done. What is that? Tivrena bhakti yogena. He has applied the devotional service intensely to the process of devotional service. He applied himself. Tivrena bhakti yogena yajeta purusham param. Then you will attain the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So that is the Falastuti. So now let us try to examine what are some of the important aspects of this story. What are the important lessons that we can learn? Important qualities exhibited by Dhruva. Right from the beginning, as I said already, that beginning point is like more or like all of us. What is the beginning point? Dhruva was very much hurt by mother's sharp words, and He wanted a solace. So when he wanted a solace, he went to his mother. So she gave him solace, not solace. He was not only looking for solace, rather he was looking for a solution to get back to his mother, stepmother. Not just solace. So when he went to Suniti, she told him, my dear child, if you worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead, He will fulfill all your desires. He has made up his mind that the solution to my problem is not having strength and reputation as a king. So if I get a better kingdom than that of my grandfather, then my mother also will respect me. My stepmother will respect me. This is how he started. Right? Like all of us, we have a problem and we think what is the right solution. And what is the right solution we think? If I have sufficient money, everybody in this world will respect me, salute me. Same mentality, isn't it? Dhruva's mentality is same as ours. So let me set out to earn enough money so that everyone will salute me. So that means we have a problem. What is the problem? The problem is that nobody is respecting me, recognizing me, honoring me. That is a problem. And we have found out what the solution is. The solution is money is the solution to all. So you know the problem, you know the solution, you don't know how to get there. Okay, this is for you. Come here. Hear Dhruva story. Come here, Dhruva story. Same problem, whatever you have, Dhruva had. But you hear the story of Dhruva. He had wonderful, wonderful life that he had led. And wonderful destination he had gone to. So it is to attract people like all of us. So one of the most important aspects of Dhruva's life is that Dhruva, number one, is very determined to reach his goal. That is why his name is Dhruva. Dhruva means one who has determination, drudhatva. He has this vyavasayatmika buddhi. Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, it is very difficult to have vyavasayatmika buddhi if your goal is sense gratification. Bhogaisvarya prasaktanam tayapahruta chetasam vyavasayatmika buddhi samadhavana vidhiyate. That Dhruva did not know at that time. He was very determined, but he did not know that he could not have maintained that determination had Narada Muni intervened in his life. Because of Narada Muni's intervention, he could divert his determination towards a person who is worthy of focus, a person who can maintain our determination. That is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It's very clearly said, Bhogaisvarya prasaktanam tayapahruta chetasam vyavasayatmika buddhi samadhavana vidhiyate. You cannot maintain your determination if your goal is bhoga aishwarya. But this man is so determined for bhoga and aishwarya. But he is going to fail. He is going to fail. So that is why Narada Muni has come, not to make him a failure. So we also have to learn the same lesson. We are going to fail. If your goal is bhoga and aishwarya, even though you may have determination like that of Dhruva. Dhruva's determination we don't have, by the way. Isn't it? Do we have Dhruva-like determination? No. Dhruva has gone at the age of 5, left his palace, went to the forest, unafraid of the ferocious animals and then poisonous serpents, and he was wandering, searching for God. He left. Such determination he had. Where is determination for all of us? One little difficulty that comes in our life, Mangalarti is fat. Is that determination? Or some health issue comes that day, whatever duties that we had, that is finished. So that is not called determination. But he has determination. Dhruva has determination. But even though you have, even suppose, let us say, we all have determination like Dhruva. Already the message is already given. The mandate is already given. What is the mandate? You are going to fail. No one has ever reached success with determination towards such a materialistic goal. Bhogaiswarya prasaktanam taya purita chetasam vyavasayatmika buddhi samadhavana vidiyate. So then what should I do? I must have determination directed towards a pure goal, not a materialistic goal. But I myself not able to direct my determination towards a pure goal. So who is required? A pure personality is required. Like Narada Muni. So Narada Muni came to Dhruva's life. He first of all, he ascertained how determined this boy is. So he spoke to him in a manner to test his determination. He said to Dhruva, Dhruva, you are a small boy. What is an insult for you? Don't feel insulted. After all, she is your mother anyway. Go back. You cannot endure the difficulties of life in a forest. Please go back. That is one point that he said. Dhruva heard. The second point he said was that even if your heart is broken and you are very hurt by the words of your mother, why don't you forgive and forget? Act like a Brahmana. Act like a man of, broad-mindedness. So, for this reason also you have to go back. So either you develop broad-mindedness, you don't have to be in this forest, and you don't consider it as an insult because you are a small boy. So for either reason you should not be here. You should go back to the palace. That was a proposal. And the proposal is to test how determined he is. The proposal is not to dissuade him. Because Narada was very happy that Dhruva came in search of God. Do you think Narada will dissuade him? No. But Narada wants to test his determination. The same thing will happen to us. Sometimes when devotees come to join the temple, we take an interview to them. You see, devotional life is not so easy. Many people have joined and gone also. And like this sometimes we speak, taking the cue from Narada Muni. We want to see how they respond, how determined they are. Because many people come here, they are harassed by the materialistic life, they are harassed by the different miseries that they have, familial, social, interpersonal, all kinds of miseries they have. So they find panacea here, solace here. So they wanted to come. I feel so happy to be here. So many nice people. Every day such glorious discussions are going on. I want to join the temple. Then we tell them, joining the temple, you think it is so easy? Then we tell, you have to first of all take a broomstick and sweep all the floor. Just to test determination. You have to clean the toilets. Some of you brahmacharis are not gone through this, I think. Or some of you have gone through it. The modern brahmacharis are not going through it. That is my only, sorrow. Everybody who joins the temple must go through this training of at least for 6 months to 1 year. Only services which are, menial in nature. That is when their determination will come. Because, I remember my own situation. When I joined the temple, my only service for continuously 2 months was a Mandira Marjana, MMD devotee. MMD means Mandira Marjana devotee. Mandira Marjana means only tuck your dhoti up, Take one bucket on the left hand, take a broom on the right hand, take a towel on your shoulder. That is the avatar. Uh, the MMD devotee has this avatar. So every Monday they change this. Every Monday they change this. So 1 week over, desperately I went to the notice board and saw whether it was changed. My name was not changed. All the other names were changed, but this name was not changed. You will not believe, 6 continuous weeks, I went and saw 6 continuous weeks, they did not change. I didn't know that they are actually doing this for a purpose. Because I just joined, I didn't know the rules of the temple, how they treat the new bhaktas and all that. I thought I was an engineer, software engineer. Once it so happened, I tell you, it is such a funny incident it is. When I told them that before joining, I told them, my background is this, my educational qualification is this and that. So they took me through a room. The room was a nicely marble polished room. There was a big computer and there was a chair. So I thought they are taking me towards that chair. But behind the chair there was a door. So they opened the door and asked me to get into that place after the door. And what was there? It was a agarbatti godown. So the service they gave me is, take the agarbatti, put it in this cover and pack it. This packing business. You see how Maya takes us, The chair is there, a table is there, a computer is there, a marble floor is there. Just behind that is this. So your thought process is, see how they are taking me, they are actually recognizing me. And they have dumped you into a dump yard. So I felt my false ego was crushed by that. And on top of that, 4 or 5 hours of service I did. They did not even call for prasadam also. I was feeling very hungry. So that was the first test. I passed the first test. Then I joined. Then I thought after joining, I will be given service of preaching to different people and all. This bucket business started. Then I thought at least after a week they will change. But these 6 continuous weeks, this happened like this. Then 7th week, I did not go to the notice board only. I understood that, it is not going to change. It all happened in a dramatic way. I am not making it dramatic, but actually happened in a dramatic way. So, I put my towel, tucked my dhoti, bucket, broom, ready to sweep. Another devotee came with that avatar. Prabhu, your name changed. Go and see. So then when I went and saw, the name changed from MMD, but the service is a little different service. What is that? You are now assistant pujari. Assistant pujari means you have 3 big huge plates, 24 cups, arati plates. All of that you have to, wash in such a way that you should be able to see your pratibimba in the plate. That is the standard of cleanliness. And not in how many aratis? 7 aratis, 8 offerings. Imagine. That means you have to go before 4:15 and then come after 9:30. And then crash the bed, again go morning. I thought, from pan to fire I fell. I thought MMD service is difficult. But actually this service is more difficult. So this went on for 2 more months. So 4 months I was completely ironed. Then I've given it up. If this is what life is, okay, let it be so. When I gave it up, my false ego was crushed. I still wanted to pursue my spiritual life because I relished Bhagavatam classes. I relished discussing Krishna Katha with other devotees. These things kept me, afloat in that environment, even though I was not liking these things. But then slowly, after 6 months of 7 months of training like this, then I was sent as an assistant preacher with another devotee. And then later on, after 1 year, as a preacher, like that, this happened. The point why I am describing this is, Our determination needs to be tested. How much really we want to be devotee. So many times we see people come to the temple seeing the beautiful palatial building, the opulent prasadam, and the kind of respect that others give us. These are initial motivations for someone to come and then be in the temple. But beyond all of this, we must understand that unless there is a deep desire to become a devotee and to go through the ups and downs of life, you cannot actually, to be a full-time devotee is not an ordinary thing. Your independence is pretty much curtailed. Independence to do nonsense is curtailed, by the way. But independence is curtailed. So, unless you want to lead a disciplined life, you cannot actually be a temple devotee, full-time devotee. So, the determination has to be tested, whether you really want to go through such a life, a disciplined life, a directed life, not independent life. I don't know if you are not a full-time devotee, let us say, you are a congregation devotee. I am even talking about a devotee. Congregation devotees have greater scope to explore their independence. They can do whatever they want and just have to come on Sunday and then do little service and still be called as a devotee. I am not demeaning the congregation devotee's position. What I am saying is that don't think that being a full-time devotee is easy. Of course, the full-time devotees also should not think that being a congregation devotee is easy. Why? Because they have their set of troubles. You have to maintain your wife, which is very difficult, family, a social status, people around you, and then still follow your prescribed, duties. It's not easy. Grass on the other side looks always greener. So that is why Lord Caitanya said, don't shift. Sthane sthitaha. Wherever you are, you be there. Srutigatam tanuvan manohar. You accept devotional process happily in whatever position that you are. So that is exactly what Narada Muni did to Dhruva Maharaj. He tested his determination. Once he is clear that this boy is very determined, then he directed that determined state towards Krishna. He told him, he gave him a sadhana program. You meditate on the Supreme Lord and then go through these austerities, and then Lord will appear to you. So he had full faith in Narada Muni's instructions. He did not deviate even a little bit. Same way, when we have full faith in Narada Muni's representative, like that of Srila Prabhupada, and his instructions if we follow faithfully, without getting deviated, Prabhupada said, you simply follow 4 regulative principles and chant Hare Krishna mantra 16 rounds. I will assure you, you will go back home, back to Godhead. This is what Prabhupada said, isn't it? All of us heard this. So, when we have this determination, Prabhupada already said that if I do this nicely, I will go back to Godhead. So, same way Dhruva has faith towards Narada Muni, if we have faith towards Srila Prabhupada and those who are representing Srila Prabhupada in helping us to execute these duties nicely, we will also have the same experience as that of Dhruva. You have to have faith, full faith. So in this way, these are the features of Dhruva's life. Dhruva was in a very horrible state to start with. Then he's very determined, but he had full faith in the instructions of his spiritual master and followed the instructions very faithfully, and this is the destination. Now he has wealth, he has long duration of life, he has a kingly position, and after the end of all of that, he went back home, back to Godhead. Prabhupada said, if you practice devotional service, you will be happy now and you will become happy later. And if you practice materialistic life, you will be miserable now and you will be miserable later again. So accepting devotional service Even though it may appear to be austere in the beginning or little difficult in the beginning, but actually when you start understanding that these are instructions given to me for my betterment, then we will not actually feel like that. We'll feel happy. It is important to be happy in any circumstances that we are placed in. It's a choice. It's a choice that we have to make to be happy. One can be unhappy about Bhagavatam class also. I'll tell you, same old things, Prabhu. Yesterday also same discussion. Today also same discussion. Tomorrow also same discussion. Same pages, same statements. What is this? That means you are miserable. While hearing Bhagavatam class, you are actually miserable. That's your choice, sir. It's not that Bhagavatam is going to be any different. In every page of Bhagavatam, the central figure is Krishna. In any page of Bhagavatam, the discussion is about devotional service to Krishna. So this subject matter is not going to change just because we are feeling miserable. So then, when the subject matter is not going to change, what should change? Our attitude towards the subject matter should change. So, it's better that I align myself to the desire of the Lord and then simply conduct my duties, execute my duties in a happy state. Then everything will fall in place, everything will come. Dhruva did not think, the beautiful thing about Dhruva is that Dhruva did not think about the result. He actually did akama in one sense. He has a lot of kama, but the way he executed devotional service is non-fruitive manner. Because Narada Muni tricked him from the goal of material goal to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That trick Narada Muni did, and his glory is that he fell for the trick. That is Dhruva's glory. It is better to fall for the trick of pure devotee than to fall for the trick of materialistic man. How many times we fall for the trick of a materialistic man? Buy one, get one free. It's a trick. You got caught by it. Isn't it? You will have to fall for a trick of this person or that person. To whose trick that you fall for is your choice. Bifale se vino krupana do jana chapala sukala bala gire. That's a choice. Whether you want to serve Krishna and his devotees or you want to serve Krupanas and Durjanas is your choice. If you serve this class of people, you will be miserable. For Chapala Sukha, you will become miserable. And if you serve this class of people, initially it may be a little pinching, but it is going to give a glorious destination. It's a choice that we have to make. So, what Dhruva did, he made this choice, consciously he made this choice, and he was happily executing the devotional path that was given by Narada Muni. He did not think that so soon Lord will appear. In 6 months' time, Lord appeared in front of him. Lord fulfilled all his desires. I'm sure Dhruva would not have imagined that all his desires would have been fulfilled. He had faith in Narada Muni's words and he executed the duties, and that's it. Rest everything is history. So that is why it is so glorious. This Falastuti is speaking that you simply worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead like Dhruva worshipped. Whatever desire you may have, akama, sarvakoma, mokshakama, whatever desire you have, all those desires are going to be fulfilled. You want to go to heavenly planets? Why heavenly planets? Uska baap hai Dhruvalok. Hai na? Dhruvaloka is its baap. So not only heavenly planets, even you will get Dhruvaloka. You will get great fame. You will get great power. You will get great wealth and opulence and greater destination in the next life. Just follow the path of Dhruva. So that is why this is glorious. It is very auspicious. So These are the lessons that we have to learn from Dhruva Maharaj's story. Not simply hearing story, just like, you hear any Tom and Jerry story, or, or you watch a, movie or something like that. Hearing a story means extracting applicable lessons for our life. That is what is truly hearing a story. So this whole episode of Dhruva Maharaj, simply hearing just like that, you will, a Vaikuntha Ratha will come and take you. No. You have to hear story as explained by Acharyas. The Acharyas have explained these things. They have emphasized these points, these salient features of the story, or the lessons that can be derived from the story. So the lessons are, though your beginning is a frustrating beginning, your glorious end will come if you take these steps, sequential steps. Number one, be determined. Other important thing that I missed out in the sequence is that Dhruva was very honest with his spiritual master. When his spiritual master gave him an instruction or told him that, you can go back, it's not a big deal, he said, sir, although I understand your instructions are very, very true, but I am not able to feel inspired by these instructions. Kindly give me something which I can relate to. He was very honest. Why he was honest? Because he is respectful towards his spiritual master. See, why we become dishonest with our teachers? Because we are disrespectful. You simply want to say yes, yes, but you want to do your own program, nonsense behind. This is a dishonest position. An honest position is, if you are not able to do, you are not feeling inspired, then you speak it out to him. Sir, I understand your instructions are so glorious, but I am not able to, conceive how can I follow these instructions. You either uplift my consciousness or give me some intermediate steps by which I can come there. Never ask, can you bring it down, bring it down, bring it down. This is a very materialistic ask. The sublime instructions cannot be brought to our level. Rather, we should be asking the spiritual master to uplift our consciousness to that sublime level. The sign of sincerity is that you don't ask the sublime instructions to be brought to your level. The sign of sincerity is that you will ask the spiritual master to uplift your consciousness through intermediary steps to come to that sublime consciousness. That is the sign of sincerity. Most of the time what we want? We want shortcuts. Can you make from 4 regulative principles to 3.5? Thoda fourth ka thoda amendation karo. No illicit sex. Define it in a way which I can meddle with. This is not sign of sincerity. Sign of sincerity is as it is, accept it, but beg for upliftment. I am not able to do it right now. Please allow me to do it through intermediate steps. So that's what Dhruva did. This is one of the very, very important aspects of Dhruva's life, that he was thoroughly honest gentleman. And then what he did, Narada Muni actually designed a plan by which Dhruva can surpass that obstacle and come to the platform of pure devotional service. So it is such a glorious episode in Bhagavatam. Very relevant to people like all of us who are full of material desires. But the destination is great destination. Pure devotee. That is why Lord Caitanya relished it very much. Because it is relevant to people like all of us. Relevant to people of this world. That's why he relished it. These are some points. Any points for discussion? Questions? Comments?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you very much, Prabhuji, for a wonderful class. That you mentioned the Phalastuti of the Dhruv Maharaj. Phalastuti of the Dhruv Maharaj.
Yeah.
That if we reading and we can extracting the lesson and we apply in our life, then it will be helpful. You told that our started is also like a Dhruv Maharaj starting. But Dhruv Maharaj ending is glorious, and we cannot follow that much. Like we are not that much qualified. You told in the middle of the class. Uh, my question, Prabhuji, that you told 2 points. First is determination, and second faith on the instruction. In the faith on instruction, you told one time that uh, our choice is there. Based on our choice, we can choose miserable or happiness. You told that we have to be happy in all circumstances. So in that my question is that you told one point that subject will not change, attitude we have to be changed. But
Right.
we heard that Prabhuji that the nature is common. Like we heard Varnashram Dharma that nature will not change. Then how this point will be applicable in that? Because our nature will not change, then how attitude will
Why?
change?
Who said nature will not change? Nature will change. If we subject our nature to devotional path, nature will change too. There are examples from the scripture. Mrugari what was his nature? Mrugari's nature was very cruel nature. He was enjoying when the animals were flapping their hands and legs for their life. That was his nature. Hasn't it completely changed? That now he was not even ready to pay obeisances when some ants are going to be crushed. Completely it will change. Nature will change. Dhruva's nature changed. So, you're saying nature will not change, nature will change. Nature means our nature. Our materialistic nature will change if we accept the instructions of a spiritual master faithfully. It will change. I can see changes in my life from what I was to what I am now. And a long way to go yet. But I can clearly see the changes. Similarly, each one of us can see changes in our life. Don't you see the change in your nature when you apply devotional service? What you were before and what you are now? It will change. So we have to have faith that, we will all change. Only thing is we have to apply the instructions of the teachers. And the point about, I want to elaborate the point on being happy, choosing to be happy. Srila Prabhupada said, chant Hare Krishna and be happy. Why did he say? It's a very mystical statement. Chant Hare Krishna and be happy. Being happy is a choice. If you are submissive to the instructions of the spiritual master, even those instructions which do not give you external happiness will ultimately give you satisfaction of heart by being submissive to the spiritual master's instruction. So, as I said, being happy is a choice. Either you can be happy by following the order, or you can try to be happy by not following the order. But by following the order, there is a greater chance to be happy. By not following the order, there is a temporary so-called happiness, but finally there is so much of resentment, so much of frustration. Any one of us who have gone through sense gratification, we all know. Sense gratification seems very pleasurable to begin with, but it is very frustrating to end with. Choose your happiness in service. Put your heart in your service, whatever that you are doing. At that moment, you want to be happy, it is in your hands. You can be happy cleaning the toilet, you can be frustrated. That's what I said, my example I gave. Initially I was frustrated. Later, I felt things are not going to change. When I felt that things are not going to change, that's when I started feeling happy doing this menial service. But that's when the things have changed. But don't expect such a change. It's like this. When Sudam Brahman went to Lord Krishna, he respected him, nicely treated him, gave him all kinds of, treatment. But did not even give him one gold coin also. So while going back, he was thinking, Lord is so wonderful. He knew that if I have wealth, I will be attached. So that is why he didn't give. As he was thinking like that, he saw a golden palace, his wife decorated with all that. The same story is told to us. What we do? We also, externally, we feel, Krishna is very good. He did not give me anything. Very nice. Still a golden palace is not appearing. I am following the same consciousness. This is the problem. This is the problem. It should happen without your knowledge. This change has to happen without your knowledge. So, being happy means not anticipating, expecting a certain result. You're just happy carrying out things. A lot of us try to feel happy anticipating a certain result will come. And that result doesn't come, then you feel frustrated. Oh, so much austerity I went through. It's for vain. It went in vain. That's what we feel. The actual happiness is not in expecting the result. Find happiness in executing the duties, not in anticipating the result. That is the true happiness. You have something? Yes.
You were very nicely explaining about your personal example of when you joined temple, they gave you some menial services like cleaning and all. And you mentioned that our determination needs to be tested.
Yeah.
So, generally when we join temple, like I am telling my experience. So in the initial days we have a lot of vigor. Like lot of vigor.
Yeah.
We have feelings like, okay, I have left the world, I have come now, and whatever challenges will come, I will just go through them. So in the beginning days, with that kind of mindset, even we are given like service like toilet cleaning, menial services. Even though we are very educationally qualified, also we may go through. But what happens, what I experienced is, over the years as we go through, the same level of determination does not remain. At the same time, we need much more amount of determination because as the years go by, challenges also increase more.
Right.
Because generally in our new Bhakta training days, we used to think like, okay, it is just 1 year austerity. You just go through it.
Same.
And once it will happen, and then you are through it. But then as we are going through, the experiences coming is, okay, we are going through and the challenges are also increasing. So we need much more amount of determination. So Prabhuji, how we can have and maintain that increasing level of determination?
Very good question. It's a very practical question. See, you can escape the challenge of cleaning a toilet, but you have to take up the challenge of cleaning the toilet like mentality of your dependent. Not one, many. Isn't it? You are given some few devotees to care for. What is that you are doing? Basically, you are cleaning the toilet only, na? Not from physical toilet. From a physical toilet to a intellectual, mental toilet is what you have to clean, basically, when you are guiding others. That is much more challenging than this. So when you are saying, how do I face that challenge? We need rasa. Without rasa, you cannot go on for a long time. What is the rasa? The rasa of the glorious nature of the transcendental and glorious nature of the Lord must be revealed to us. And when we relish the relationship and reciprocation from the personality of Godhead through His representatives, then you feel that it is worth to go through all this austerity. When the rasa stops, our enthusiasm and determination also will be slowly, it will die down. So the only hopeful thing for us to maintain our determination is to relish the rasa of Lord's reciprocation and the devotees' reciprocation, especially those devotees who are caring for us. When they feel happy for our services, we are ready to take even more austerities. Just like Prabhupada, even on his deathbed, Prabhupada said, I want to hear the book's course. Why did he do that? To simply increase their enthusiasm and determination to do that service. Prabhupada did that. So to see a small smile on the Prabhupada's face, these devotees have done humongous tasks. That is precisely is the hope for us. The pleasure of the superior Vaishnava or spiritual master is what makes us feel more and more determined and to go through all the subtle difficulties that may come through in our journey in Krishna consciousness. And suppose if we have not tasted that rasa of that relationship with the Vaishnava, it's practically over. Devotional life is over. It's only on a dying down path. It is. So, spend quality time with your mentors or the person whom you are looking up to. And, hear from him, express your heart, share your, purpose, share your, goals. This will really make us a missionary, to continue to be a missionary, true missionary. Otherwise, everything, after some time, everything will become mechanical. If we don't have this, things will become mechanical. That's my experience. I'm sharing with you. That makes sense? Question is answered.
Thanks, Prabhuji, for your wonderful class. My question is like you are telling about determination. So my question is, although I try to minimize my sense gratification because that is the main hindrance. So still I find that it's very difficult to steadily follow the process. It's a lot of up and down. So the determination doesn't go ahead. So what are some practical steps that we can take?
We have to be accountable. We have to be accountable. The problem why we are not able to practice so strictly, nicely, is we don't want to be subjected to the scrutiny of a superior Vaishnava. Our scrutiny is limited to only sadhana chart, maximum at best, or attendance in the register. In the register, what is written is whether you have attended the class. It is not written whether you have slept in the class, awake in the class, determined in the class, enthusiastic in the class. None of those things are written there, no? That is a problem with all of us. We don't want to be subjected to deeper scrutiny. And no one dares to do such a deeper scrutiny unless we agree to be scrutinized like that. Isn't it? As you go deeper, there are sensitive nerves are there. You try to touch them, people, all kinds of sounds will come. So that is why people also don't want to touch those nerves. So what we should do, we should voluntarily subject. See, my thought process from last week is like this. This is where I got stuck. And this person, I am holding negative feelings, which is affecting my contemplation very much. Who will know this? Your mentor will not know unless you reveal this to him. Just the way Dhruva has revealed his heart that how he is not able to appreciate the higher instructions Narada Muni is giving. Similarly, we should also express where our mental blocks are to a superior, senior Vaishnava. Then he will be able to give us a process by which you can cross the mental blocks. We are not opening up. We are mechanically taking the devotional process. You know, in fact, one devotee told me, Prabhu, why you are saying all these things? Didn't Prabhupada say that, you put the iron into the heat and then one day the iron also will act like fire? I told him, the distance at which you kept the iron matters, sir. You have a Bhanda candle program. Huh? You have a candle here, you have a big Bhanda hung there, and you want to make a sweet rice with this little heat. So the distance matters. That means the scrutiny matters. Our scrutiny is a Bhanda candle scrutiny. Sadhana chat, 16 rounds over, heard Bhagavatam class over. That scrutiny is a very, very minimal scrutiny. But if you want to progress, you have to subject yourself to a higher scrutiny. That is, where our consciousness is stuck. What kind of feelings that we are harboring towards a particular devotee. Or what kind of thinking process that we have. How did we process Bhagavatam class? Today, how was your chanting? These things, unless you reveal your own heart and have deeper discussion with a senior Vaishnava, things are going to be at that stage only. Every day it is a struggle. Every day it is a struggle. Every day it is a struggle. So choice is ours. Vaishnavas are there to help us. They are ready to give time. I am sure every Vaishnava will be happy if you discuss so deeply about Krishna consciousness. He will not say, I am frustrated with you, get lost. He will not say it. Our time is meant for what? Our time is meant for understanding these things more deeply. So, we have to take initiative. Otherwise, it is going to, as I told him, it is going to be a dying down process. Enthusiasm, you will see with your own vision, you will see your enthusiasm is going down and down and down and down. It is bound to happen. So let always be the iron be put in fire, not away from the fire, and expect that one day it will become hot. The critical distance is important. I hope you understand what I said. Yes. Last question for today. We exceeded time. Yes.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, you said that Dhruva Maharaj has faith on Narad Muni.
Yeah.
So that only he became somewhat successful. But we also has that faith on scriptures and who is instructing us. How to increase that faith on scriptures and who is instructing us, like gurus, like Srila Prabhupada. How to increase that faith so that we can continue like long-time devotee. You said now that to continue like long-time devotee. How can we increase that faith?
First thing, it's actually, the answer is a little longer, but I will not take that much time. Some other time we'll discuss a longer answer. The short answer is this. Right now, whatever faith we have, it is not pure faith. It's a mixed faith. You know why? Our faith is increasing based on certain landmarks that happen. Right? It's not a pure Shraddha. You cannot conceive within your brain, you cannot have faith in it. That means we have subjected the process of faith to our intellectual fineness. If it fits into my logic, I will have faith in it. If it doesn't fit in my logic, I will not have faith in it. But devotional path is not like that. It is. It does not depend on your faith. You understand? It doesn't depend on our faith. That means the present faith, if you go on nurturing it, it will always be mixed one only. Because the beginning of the faith is mixed. So the end point also is going to be mixed only. Initial only, if suppose 2 is less than 3 is what your assumption is. 2 is greater than 3 is what your assumption is. There itself it's wrong. Na? The calculation has gone wrong. So now, no matter how many steps that you go through in that equation, your end equation is going to be wrong because the initial equation is wrong. 2 is less than 3, not 2 is greater than 3. Similarly, the present faith what we have is a mixed faith. It depends on our logic and reasoning. So that is why Shastra says you have to come to a point of giving pure Shraddha. That pure Shraddha is Sadhu Krupa. It's a gift of Sadhu. So you serve Sadhu and he is happy with you, with your service, then he will bless you to have pure Shraddha. And from that pure Shraddha, you nurture that Shraddha through Pranipatena Pariprashnena Sevaya. It will go to a point of Prema. But we expect our mixed Shraddha to come to the point of Prema, which will never happen. It's better to change it initially than intermediately. That is why one of the instructions of the Shastra is that Amnaya. Amnaya process means it's a process of revelation. You cannot get this, you cannot achieve this. This realization you cannot achieve, it has to be given to you. So you wait for it and you do everything necessary to receive it. Sevonmukho hi jivadav swayameva spuradyataha. You start doing your devotional service with your tongue. Krishna will bless you with that realization. But we are set out to achieve that realization with our limited mind and intelligence. Nachanya ekopi chiram vichinvan. Chiram vichinvan means even chirakala you try to do speculate, you will not get that revelation. You will not get that realization of who Krishna is and what his glorious nature is. So the answer is simple. Answer is don't rely on your acquired Shraddha. Receive Shraddha from a sadhu by service and then nurture it.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Alright, thank you all very much. We have crossed all limits of time. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.